I was looking through or searching through YouTube for prepping advice, materials, and hints and guesses. But anyway, in doing that, I ran across several videos about water filtration. And the discussion was, how good are they? How much do the filters cost? And I'm talking about something beyond the Brita kind of thing. I'm talking about being able to take water out of the retention pond and or creek and filter it so that it's drinkable. And the positive to that is, if your electricity is out for some period of time, what I do is becomes more difficult. All of my drinking water, by the way, I live in Central Florida. The water contains a lot of lime. Some people in this neighborhood complain about it having a slight sulfur smell. It's safe to drink. It just may not be, for me, I don't like the taste of it. And particularly when you make coffee or whatever with it, it imparts those tastes to the whatever you're making. So to deal with that, I use a Vevor water distiller. This distills approximately 1 gallon of water in each batch. And it can take up to 4 hours. A little less because I use hot water to put into the distiller, so it doesn't have to take the time to heat it up to boiling, or it uses less time. So I probably get a gallon every 3 hours. And I live alone, and so it's only myself to hydrate. And so a gallon of distilled water usually lasts me about 2 days. But I try to get some put aside. I usually try to store at least 5 gallons over beyond my immediate needs. A long power outage from a storm or whatever reason, I'd be needing some water filtration system that doesn't require electricity after 10 days. I do have what's called a battery generator. It's basically not a generator at all. It's a iron phosphate battery with a built-in AC converter in a nice package. It's EcoFlow Delta 2. And the distiller uses 750 watts. So basically, I should be able to get a gallon of distilled water running the unit from that EcoFlow. Then the problem is, how do I recharge the EcoFlow? Well, I do have a 400 watt solar panel that I can hook it up to. But I would really have to conserve water a great deal, assuming I had no other uses for the EcoFlow electricity. So here in Central Florida, if they hadn't cut canals and built retention ponds, we'd all be in a swamp. So there's plenty of water around. It's just gross. So I can get the water. So how do I make it usable? For short-term use in an emergency, I would have no problems filtering the water once through coffee filters, and then the second filtration would be through a Brita filter. And then what's left over, I could boil because I do have fuel for my little alcohol stove. So I could survive on that indefinitely as long as the alcohol doesn't run out, but I probably have enough alcohol fuel on hand to last for several hundred hours of cooking time. So I feel pretty good about that. But anyway, I guess the issue I want to address in this video is the fact that people who are using filters, even a Brita filter, for their daily drinking water in non-emergency situations, distilling the water is equal to or less expensive than using filters of any kind. The other advantage is it is distilled, which means that when you distill a batch and take off the lid and look into the pot and the distiller, it's filled with all the gross stuff that it filtered out that I'm not having to drink. And all I have to do is occasionally clean that with a little bit of vinegar on the inside. And so I don't have any filter cost. Now, some people will run activated charcoal filters in conjunction with that distiller, but I don't do that. I can't tell any difference when I do and don't, and so I don't. At any rate, it works great for me. And if you're in a area where the water tastes bad or is unhealthy, I would be comfortable distilling the water, which should take out certainly all of the things that would make you sick. And I presume most of the minerals and, like arsenic, heavy metals, stuff like that, should remain in the pot as a byproduct as opposed to going out through. Best I can determine, the distilled water is pure. I would certainly rely on it sooner than the distilled water I buy in a plastic jug at the store, and at considerable less cost. Also down here where I live, it's a 55 plus community. And everybody around here gets around in golf carts. That's where we travel. So, and it being a hot climate, we have to refill top out the water in the batteries frequently. And of course, that can only be done with distilled water. If I ever use tap water to do that, there's so much lime in the water that it would kill the battery acid. Just that would be an expensive mistake. So at any rate, I just wanted to cover that because some people may not realize that you do have an alternative to from filtering your water, just distill it. The other advantage of distilling is you fill up the pot, turn it on, it cuts off automatically, and it's just there. So it doesn't have to be attended. It only takes a minute or two to fill up the pot. So anyway, I hope you'll find that to be useful.